See, this is exactly what we need. We need women to be like that. Oh, I don't know anything about politics. I don't care anything about politics. If that happens, the world will be a much better place. I promise you that.
Yeah, my only politics is women shouldn't vote. That's my biggest politics. Sorry.
And I honestly, let me ask you this, bro. If men go out there and say, we will provide certain benefits for women, do you think as a whole they'll give up their right to vote? If say that
No, I don't think we'll ever give it up because we already get a bunch of rights. We already get a bunch of privileges. We're paid to be single mothers.
Yeah.
We're paid to leave marriages. We also get paid if we stay married. It's like
in California, you don't even have to get married. 6 months living in the same place, you can start suing the guy for child support.
Yeah, no, exactly. So it's like what more do we need? We have everything. You can go work. You can go not work. You can go live off the government. You can go live off a man. It's like what else do we need? And what do we still do? We whine. And that's what I realized. I'm like, we just are big whiners. Like, we just are never happy. I don't know why.
You can never satisfy a woman.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It just seems to be our nature. I don't know.
I just did a video on this. Corporate land is dominated by women. It's done. Phone it in. Man, I don't think the job space is even a viable market for men anymore. I truly don't. I think it's all dominated by women. Corporations are headed in that direction. But my point in stating that is that there's really only two sectors left of men, in my opinion, who can even find a wife. And this is controversial, but it's losers and the rich. Losers have access to women because, in my opinion, there's a low anxiety. You know what I mean? Like, there's a certain income spread right now that is very hard for men in the dating market, and that spread, in my opinion, is between like 140 to 250,000 a year income. Those guys are invisible. They're not rich, but they have the kind of jobs that are just hard enough to where there's no women around. So they're having such a tough time, and a lot of these guys,
computer geeks,
100%, the tech guys, and I have access to this market because these are the guys who follow me on Twitter. And they all lament to me over and over again that as soon as they got on their feet and got these higher paying jobs, their dating market completely dried up. It's drier than the Sahara. They cannot find women. When they were losers, they said they were cleaning up. And I think it's because...
Are they going for higher quality women now, though?
I think they are.
Oh, yeah, I think that's probably why.
That's probably why. But I do think that in this culture that's inverted, the ambition of a man who works out routinely, is super shredded, jacked, rich, it yells anxiety. And I think that is what's putting these women off subliminally. I think that women like low anxiety men, which is why I think the loser archetype, for whatever reason, does do well in this kind of market.
It's only the loser if he's hot, though, right? You're telling an ugly loser
gets
bitches?
That's true.
Oh, okay.
That's true. But then they talk about how, like, gold diggers, and I'm like, how do you bash a gold digger? In my eyes, that makes zero sense, because you mean to tell me that a woman likes you for something that you earned rather than the way that you were born? Like, that's how it should be. A woman should be into you based on what you've earned in this life. So the whole women coming after your money.
Are they going to be loyal, though? If you find a woman when you actually have a big bag, a high percentage of them are not going to be loyal. If you find a woman when you're broke, you bond together, you grow together, she's probably not going to cheat on you when you have the bag.
But that's if you take the nerd route. If you take the nerd route, like Elon's worth $230 billion, can't lock down a woman, still jerking off about Grimes. True. But I do think life experience is what bleeds over to, look, and I've said this on Spaces before, I do believe the single thing that a woman wants the most in a man subliminally, and I've never heard anybody else say this but me, I think ultimately a woman wants to know that she cannot fool or befuddle you. She can't pull one over on you. You see her coming a mile away, you put it in check. She has to know for sure she cannot pull the wool over your eyes on anything. You know when she's lying. You know when she's being sneaky. You just know. You can telegraph it. That only comes from life experience. It doesn't come from business. A lot of these rich crypto kids who are nerds who became very wealthy, they're struggling because they skipped the life part. You got to be in the trenches as a man, suffering pain. You got to learn life. You got to get your heart broken a couple times. That's the root of a man. Once you kind of build that scar tissue and you have that experience, it translates over and you become a gamer. Then
first you get played, then you become a player, correct?
100%.
Okay, yeah, that seems logical. Pro, anything to say?
No, I agreed with him. I would have said guidance, but it's like the same thing.
Like the same thing.
Yeah. It's like no, because when you are looking at a guy, you kind of want to see. It's like can he guide me in the right
100%.
direction? Yeah,
100%. And I think a lot of these younger guys don't understand that you have to teach all the time. Like that, being in a long-term relationship is the most. It's life on hardcore mode. It is the hardest difficulty setting.
And especially like with us, like a bunch of women, like we've never, like most women weren't raised to be wives. Right? Like even women that like came from 2-parent households, it's like what percent of men lead relationships? What percent of people have traditional relationships? You know, there's an entire and like what I think a third of people were born in single-parent households now.
Depending on the demographics, much higher.
Yeah.
Depending on the demographics, much higher.
Yeah, but so that's what I mean when I say guidance, because half of guys don't even like they don't even know that, you know.
No, they can't even get that part down at all.
Yeah.
Don't communicate, don't sit down, don't teach. You have to explain things.
The computer has done a lot to destroy men's ability to actually know how to talk to women.
100%.
I remember having get-togethers in Vegas, inviting a whole bunch of people, and you would see women sitting at the bar and guys playing video games. And I'm like, I'm married and everything, so I can't really do anything. But I'm looking at these women like, I'm sorry, I feel bad for you. I don't know what else to tell you. Playing video games when you have women around who are basically trying to, get to know you and stuff like that. I think these guys don't know how to talk to women. And, 10, 15 years ago, I would have laughed at the idea of a coach that tells, guys how to, get women. I would have laughed at that hitch concept. Now it's a viable market.
Well, but yeah, we also lost community, I think. You know what I mean? Like people used to have like friend groups, or you'd meet like the guy down the hall.
Your neighbors and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So like, maybe a guy that didn't know how to talk.
I hate my neighbor, by the way.
Go ahead. But like I don't know any of the neighbors in my building. Or in London, like I don't know any of them.
I know all the neighbors that have a Trump sign in their front yard. Those are the ones I go and I say, "How you doing?" Those are the ones I want to break bread with. And basically, what you have to understand is, a lot of people are very stupid. I'm just gonna flat out say it, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world. People are very ignorant, and one of the biggest reasons is because people don't get breastfed anymore. Fact. When kids get breastfed, their IQs go up 9 to 10% higher. So when the women actually stayed at home, when men were men and they actually had enough money to provide for the family, all of a sudden these kids had higher IQs. People wonder why all these people are stupid now. No one's getting breastfed.
And then you have tenacious life forms like myself that can get half and half and still turn out all right.
Oh, there you go, brother. But like you're an exception to the rule.
It's 100% true, though. I think the breastfeeding thing is insane to me, because how did Gerber's, like that is the greatest marketing campaign ever. How did Gerber's hijack the female amygdala and convince them
we're dummies
that fucking Zog slop is more potent and powerful and nourishing than your own breast? That's a marketing campaign. Women got bamboozled in what, the 70s, 80s? That's just completely
before that.
They completely abdicated their feminine instinct to Gerber's.
Yeah,
that makes zero fucking sense to me, how the power and forces in play on that.
I mean, we pick husbands, I'm sorry, through horoscope signs.
That's how I did it.
We look at magazines. I think what you do is a little more complex than what the average chick does.
Well, yeah, I do numerology.
But Pearl, that's a good point.
It's like, I'm just saying, like, this is, not character, not like what to, it's.
It was amazing, Pearl. When I first started getting into numerology, astrology, I went to all the top numerologists, all the top astrologers in 2002. And there was a common theme. Woman divorced 3-4 times. And I kept asking these women, if you're so good at astrology, why'd you get divorced 3 or 4 times? People grow apart. But you didn't see that coming? And just to put it in perspective, I've been married for almost 20 years. So obviously I knew what the hell I was doing. But other people, they just don't. I mean, Malik, when it comes to your country, are men having similar issues like they do in America? They can't find a good woman? I mean, obviously you don't have that problem.
No, in Africa, traditionally it's arranged, so like by the time the woman gets to the age of puberty, she's married off.
Sell her off like a cow.
So it's not like, any woman who is not married after that age is just whoring around,
So wait a second. If a woman isn't married by what age? 20, 22?
Well, when she starts, like experiencing, she can
Period?
give birth, yeah.
Well, they can sometimes give birth at 13, 14. What's that?
Yeah, so they're married off because...
At 13, 14?
No, I'm just saying that because, like, what it is, culturally over there, if a woman gives birth, like she was saying that most women now are not virgins, They've been sleeping around,
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, to get a good woman who hasn't been sleeping around, you have to catch them before they get going. Yeah. So they get married off.
Do you think that's a superior system than what is going on here in America?
I think so, yes.
Less divorce?
And they don't get divorced because at that time, at that age, she's not, corrupted. So she's going to go into the marriage, ready for it.
Pearl, you looking for an arranged marriage?
What's funny? When I was younger, I would always say my parents could do an arranged marriage. They never took me up on it, though.